It is a pleasure to return to the studio after a few days in the South. There is much to discuss as today has been extremely eventful for Celtic and Scottish football. Earlier this morning, a significant revelation about the future of football in Scotland emerged, along with updates about an important player, among other topics. It is already late, and I've been back for about an hour, but I'm determined to delve into these issues despite feeling quite tired. Returning to the regular schedule after the recent trips is refreshing, and now is the time to get back into the routine of publishing as business in football continues. There are many details to analyze today, so let's not waste any more time. It's important to mention that this section might be delicate for some viewers. If this topic is inappropriate, there are timestamps in the description below to skip to the next subject. However, given the significance of the information related to the club and the official statement released today, it is essential to address it. This afternoon, it was confirmed that a court decision has been reached regarding historical abuse cases associated with Celtic Boys Club. Here is the full statement as released. Celtic Football Club can confirm that several legal claims in the class action cases against the club have been resolved. There is an expectation that a settlement will be reached with the remaining members of the group soon, and collaboration with the members' lawyers has occurred to find a solution. Celtic Football Club has announced that several legal demands in the class action lawsuits against the entity have been resolved. There is hope that a settlement will be reached soon with the remaining members of the group. For some, the club is seeking collaboration with the lawyers of those involved to reach a solution. The institution acknowledges the strength of the abuse survivors who have spoken out and hopes this resolution can bring some form of closure. Celtic Football Club is deeply shocked by any form of historical abuse and expresses its compassion for those who have suffered as well as for their families. The club sincerely regrets that such events took place at Celtic Boys Club. We take this matter very seriously, especially due to the historical ties between the two entities. Abuse of young people is a horrendous crime that unfortunately has affected various areas of society. The club continues to work alongside Scottish football to ensure that the environment is safe for all young people. It is crucial to reiterate everything that has already been expressed in previous statements, and thoughts are with all those impacted by these serious crimes. There is no place for such atrocities in any area of football, regardless of the team one supports, be it Celtic or any other. This is an extremely serious matter that affects families and individuals. The satisfaction comes from the possibility of some form of justice, even if true justice for those affected seems out of reach. However, there is relief in the possibility of a settlement and resolution through the courts. The situation is lamentable. Overall, and thoughts as mentioned are with all those affected, this is a very serious issue that should not be treated lightly. Justice had already been pending for these people, and as already stated, full justice will never be achieved. To believe this could happen in such situations is challenging, but it is encouraging to see that finally something has been done and progress has been made. Undoubtedly, the situation is alarming, and thoughts remain with everyone affected. Therefore, it has been a significant day for Scottish football, marked by a major exclusive debut. This is a significant moment, long awaited, and it is exciting to see that progress has finally been made. However, the situation is still grave, and thoughts are with all those affected. Today is a key day for Scottish football, as we received an important exclusive about a potential restructuring of the Scottish Professional Football League. Initially, the news sounded like an April Fool's joke, but it was confirmed as true, sparking considerable reaction online. When it comes to restructuring within the context of Scottish football, this raises expectations that have not been met, as this proposal is completely different from what many had imagined. Recently, information was released by a reliable source generating skepticism among many who suspected it was a prank. Personally, I doubted such a stunt could happen on a day of such notoriety, and indeed my instinct was correct. This news gained credibility and is now supported by various media outlets. The proposal involves the intention of the Scottish football regulatory body to return to a premiership model with 10 teams without the split in the table, which is quite interesting. To access the full article, a subscription is required, but the first paragraph reveals that there are indeed plans to return to the 10-team format, eliminating the split for the top 6. A working group is currently reviewing potential changes. to the league format to ease the burden of matches caused by the expansion of European club competitions, which is considerable. This follows an official announcement made earlier confirming that clubs participating in European playoffs will be able to request postponements for league matches. All Scottish Premiership teams involved in playoffs next season will be able to request a postponement for a specific match in the league. The board of the Scottish football regulatory body has approved a new policy aimed at improving preparations for European matches after years of ongoing discussions. Clubs involved in the upcoming European playoff round will have the opportunity to seek a postponement for one specific match in their league schedule. The board overseeing professional football in Scotland has authorized a new policy aimed at improving preparation for European fixtures. This resolution addresses long-standing grievance from fans of various clubs who feel they lack a fair opportunity to achieve success in Europe and maximize their chances of qualification, primarily due to the heavy domestic and European match. Schedules. It has been confirmed that teams from Scotland may request a postponement for the match day 3, which is set for the weekend of the 23rd and 24th of August in the Scottish Premiership. A statement issued by a club this morning indicated that this option will be made available if teams find themselves positioned between qualifying matches. One club will have a qualifying tie affected by their coefficient, while another will also be participating in qualifying matches. All clubs in Scotland will need to engage in some form of European qualifier this summer, and the league is actively working to alleviate the pressures on these teams. This development is particularly positive for the smaller clubs that lack the same depth of squad as some of their counterparts. Nonetheless, the implications of this adjustment could lead to a return to a 10-team league structure, which is not favored by many stakeholders. It is difficult to accept that there's ongoing debate regarding the Scottish Premiership and the football framework reverting to a structure that has not been requested. It does not take much analysis to point out a more effective way to restructure Scottish football, yet those responsible for the league and its various boards have determined that a 10-team top tier is the answer. Fans have long voiced their dissatisfaction with the lack of excitement in the Scottish League, and this proposed solution seems to make it even less interesting. The whole situation appears almost ludicrous and raises questions about the future. Direction of the sport in Scotland. The inclination towards a 10-team top-flight league seems to stem from a wish to tackle the perceptions concerning the Scottish League's deficiency in excitement. However, the proposed remedy appears to result in an even less stimulating outcome, which borders on absurdity. This predicament may expose the shortcomings of the current league board members. Later reports indicated that alternative configurations are being considered, including larger setups of 14 or 16 teams, which are under review by a working group. While a 14-team model could maintain the frequency of derby matches, among various cities it might create challenges for teams in the lower half, as they would play more matches than those in the upper 6 after splitting. Discussions regarding scheduling and potential adjustments for the upcoming season are still ongoing, with the 2026-27 campaign being seen as a more feasible target for any changes. It is essential to note that these are merely discussions and that nothing has been set in stone for the next season. It seems improbable that any changes will be implemented before the 2026-27 season, and such changes would only occur after productive negotiations and agreements. Nonetheless, it is critical to acknowledge that the perspectives and rationales of fans seem to hold little significance in this equation. Ultimately, what matters most is what generates the highest revenue from broadcasting deals. Regrettably, supporters may find themselves overlooked if it means higher profits for the league and its executives. The current focus appears to be leaning more toward financial benefits than the interests of fans. Visualizing a 10-team league raises concerns about clubs outside of the leading teams facing each other repeatedly within a condensed season. This scenario would only exacerbate the disparity between teams, complicating the chances for clubs to bridge the gap. A challenge that would be substantial even in a 16 or 18 team league. In a 10-team setup, the supremacy of the top teams would likely become even more accentuated, as teams are constantly evolving. Clubs like Aberdeen and Hibernian, among others, face significant challenges in narrowing the existing gap. This situation has always been complicated and would remain so regardless of whether we are talking about a league with 16 or 18 teams. In a league restricted to 10, the disparity becomes even more evident, especially with Celtic and Rangers, where the gap already reaches 13 points. While we see Celtic and Rangers advancing, Aberdeen and Hibernian continue to fall behind as they need to dedicate 8 matches in a 36-game season just to face the two mentioned teams. It's surprising how the inequality between these groups tends to increase, and I wonder what the logic behind this reduced structure is. I don't intend to dwell too much on this now, but I think it's important to address this issue. We will certainly have the chance to discuss it more in depth in the coming weeks. It's worth noting that this is a topic that will spark heated debates among Scottish football fans, especially those supporting the smaller clubs. And I have compassion for the supporters of these teams as the gap tends to widen. When we talk about 3 divisions in Scotland, it's clear that this does not bring benefits to anyone. I feel sorry for the fans, and I believe their voices will be heard in the upcoming matches. We need to keep track of the evolution of these conversations in case there's still a chance for a change in opinions. Television, for its part, is keen to maintain the division, ensuring 4 matchups annually between the Glasgow teams, 4 Edinburgh derbies, 4 Dundee clashes, as long as these teams remain in the elite. They will do everything possible to make this happen, even investing capital if necessary. It's hard to imagine that we are debating this today, and it's not a joke. I hope that those leading these discussions start to realize the reality soon. As for an interesting update on Schmeichel, there is something that should bring hope to Celtic fans. Although the term good news may sound strange under the current circumstances, it is important to remember the initial information about Schmeichel's injury, which suggested a potentially long period of absence. However, a clearer recovery timeline was shared during an interview where it was mentioned that some updates were received and the situation will be reassessed in the next 5 to 6 weeks, which was the timeline given. However, it seems that this time might not be as long as originally thought. In the short term, Schmeichel will not be available, but when asked about the possibility of a return before the end of the season, there was optimism. It was mentioned that it is believed that a return could be possible. Although it's crucial to monitor the situation closely, this opens up the possibility of a return in time for a potential Scottish Cup final clash, or even before the last match of the season where the team is aiming to secure their 4th consecutive trophy. This update is especially positive, particularly after previous concerns that the absence could extend until September or even prematurely end the season. The fact that there's a chance for a return before the decisive game of the season is valuable and encouraging information. Although there is no immediate need to hasten this return, as another player will have the opportunity to shine, it is clear that the presence in the stadium on the day of the final is deserved given the valuable contributions to the team. It would be frustrating to miss such an important opportunity. Therefore, today's news is significant with implications for the games yet to come. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. In the bustling world of European football, a new transfer saga is brewing that could potentially reshape the landscape of Scottish football. Bojan Miovski, the dynamic forward who made waves in the Scottish Premiership with Aberdeen, is now at the center of Celtic's ambitions. The 25-year-old Macedonian's rising stock has caught the eye of some of Europe's top clubs, but it's Celtic who seems to be leading the charge to secure his signature. With Miovski's recent move to Girona making headlines, the Scottish Giants' interest is sparking speculation about what lies ahead for the player and his potential future in Glasgow. Miovski's journey to prominence is a tale of grit and determination. His professional career began at Bregalnica, his local Macedonian club, before taking a leap into Hungarian football with MTK Budapest. However, it was his 2022 move to Aberdeen that truly marked the start of his rise. The forward wasted no time in making an impact, scoring crucial goals and establishing himself as one of the most promising talents in the Scottish Premiership. His quick adaptability to the league and his ability to deliver when it mattered most made him a fan favorite at Pittodrie. And it wasn't long before the rumors linking him to bigger clubs started to swirl. On the back of his impressive stint With Aberdeen, Miovski secured a high-profile move to La Liga's Girona in August 2024, signing a 4-year deal with the Spanish side. His transfer was not just a personal achievement, but a sign of his growing stature in European football. Nevertheless, as Miovski settles into life in Spain, Celtic has not let go of their interest. The club's scouts have been keeping a close eye on his performances in La Liga, with reports suggesting that Celtic could make a move once again to bring the versatile forward to Glasgow. The timing of Celtic's interest raises questions about the club's future ambitions. With Miovski's proven ability to score in multiple leagues, including the Scottish Premiership, and his potential for further growth, the Hoops are undoubtedly keen to bolster their attacking options. Celtic's pursuit of Miovski not only highlights their intent to maintain dominance in the Scottish League, but also signals their desire to strengthen their squad for potential European campaigns. His versatility in the final third and his knack for finding the back of the net could provide a much-needed spark to a Celtic attack already brimming with talent. As the summer transfer window looms, all eyes will be on Miovski's next move. With Celtic's interest still alive, the question remains whether the Macedonian forward will remain in Spain or if the lure of a return to Scottish football, where he could join one of the most storied clubs in Europe, will prove irresistible. One thing is for sure, wherever Miovski lands, his future in football looks incredibly bright. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.